You're tired. Not just tired in your body, but tired deep in your soul. Tired of fighting the same battles. Tired of carrying weights that never seem to get lighter. Tired of waking up every morning wondering if today will be different, only to find yourself right back where you started when the sun goes down. You're tired of disappointments that cut deep. Tired of people who promised to stay but walked away. Tired of doors that won't open no matter how hard you knock. Tired of praying prayers that feel like they're hitting the ceiling and falling right back down on your chest. You're tired of being strong when everything inside you wants to break. Tired of smiling when your heart is crying. Tired of saying, "I'm fine," when you're barely holding on. Tired of this heaviness that follows you everywhere you go, like a shadow you can't shake off. And maybe you're tired of yourself too. Tired of making the same mistakes. Tired of falling into the same traps. Tired of promising yourself you'll do better, be better, only to find yourself right back in the same old patterns. Tired of this version of you that you never wanted to become. Listen to me closely, because what I'm about to tell you comes from a place deeper than words. It comes from the heart of heaven itself. God sees you. He sees every tear you've cried in the dark. He sees every night you couldn't sleep because worry kept you awake. He sees every morning you dragged yourself out of bed even though you had no strength left. He sees the weight you're carrying, and he knows it's breaking you. But here's what you need to understand today, right now, in this very moment as you hear these words. God didn't bring you this far to leave you tired forever. He didn't carry you through everything you've survived just to let you collapse now. He didn't protect your mind when it could have shattered, didn't guard your heart when it could have turned to stone, didn't keep breath in your lungs through the darkest valleys, just to abandon you in this season of exhaustion. No. God has a plan for this tiredness. He's going to transform it. Not next year. Not when you finally figure everything out. Not when you become perfect or when your life looks the way you think it should. He's going to transform what tires you today, right where you are, exactly as you are. You see, we live in a world that tells us to push through, to be tough, to never show weakness. We're told that tiredness is failure, that exhaustion means we're not strong enough, not faithful enough, not trying hard enough. So we hide our weariness. We pretend we're okay. We keep going even when everything in us is screaming to stop. But God never asked you to carry everything alone. He never designed you to be strong enough for all of this. That's not weakness on your part. That's humanity. That's exactly how He made you, so that when you reach the end of yourself, you'd finally reach for Him. The tiredness you feel right now, it's not your enemy. I know it feels like it is. I know it feels like this exhaustion is stealing your joy, your hope, your very life. But what if I told you that this tiredness is actually the beginning of your transformation? What if this breaking point is really a breaking through point? Think about it. When are we most desperate for God? When are we most open to His voice? When are we most willing to surrender control? It's when we're tired. It's when we've tried everything and nothing worked. It's when we've reached the absolute end of our own strength and we have nowhere left to turn. That's where you are right now. And I know it doesn't feel like a blessing. It feels like a curse. It feels like you're failing. But you're not failing. You're finally in the exact position where God can do His greatest work in your life. The Bible tells us about a woman who was tired. So tired. She'd been bleeding for 12 years. 12 long years of doctors who couldn't help her. 12 years of spending everything she had trying to get better. 12 years of being pushed to the edges of society, of being called unclean, of being avoided and rejected. 12 years of waking up every single day still sick, still suffering, still tired of fighting. She had every reason to give up. She had every reason to stay home that day when she heard Jesus was passing through. She was exhausted, weak, probably dizzy from blood loss, probably ashamed of her condition, probably tired of hoping because hope had disappointed her so many times before. But something in her, something deeper than her tiredness, whispered, "Just one more try. Just reach out one more time." And in her weakness, in her exhaustion, in her absolute desperation, she pushed through the crowd and touched the hem of Jesus' garment. And everything changed in an instant. 12 years of tiredness, transformed in a moment. 12 years of suffering, ended by one touch. Not because she was strong. Not because she had faith the size of a mountain. But because she was tired enough to stop relying on herself and reach for him instead. That's what God wants to do for you. He wants to take this thing that's wearing you down, this burden that's crushing you, this battle that's exhausting you, and he wants to transform it. Not by removing every difficulty from your life. Not by making everything suddenly easy. But by giving you a strength that isn't your own. By carrying what you can't carry. By fighting battles you're too tired to fight. You've been trying to fix everything yourself. You've been trying to change your circumstances, change other people, change your situation. And you're exhausted because that was never your job. Your job is to reach out. Your job is to touch the hem of his garment. Your job is to whisper, God, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. I need you. And when you do that, when you finally stop pretending you have it all together, when you finally admit you're tired and you need help, that's when transformation begins. Not because you got stronger, but because you got honest. See, God doesn't waste anything in your life. Not even this tiredness. Especially not this tiredness. He's going to use it. He's going to take every sleepless night, every tear-stained pillow, every moment you wanted to give up but kept going anyway, and he's going to weave it into something beautiful. Something you can't even imagine right now. The exhaustion you feel from disappointment? He's going to transform it into wisdom that helps you recognize real blessings when they come. The tiredness from betrayal? He's going to transform it into discernment that protects your heart. The weariness from loss? He's going to transform it into compassion that allows you to comfort others who are hurting. The fatigue from your own mistakes? He's going to transform it into humility that keeps you dependent on his grace. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is meaningless. This season you're in right now, this exhausting, difficult, painful season, it matters. It's not just something to get through. It's not just something to survive. It's the place where God is preparing you for everything he has planned for your future. But you have to let him work. You have to stop fighting him. You have to stop trying to convince him that you know better than he does about what you need and when you need it. You have to trust that the same God who created the universe, who hung the stars in place, who breathed life into your lungs, knows exactly what he's doing with your life right now. I know you're tired of waiting, tired of trusting, tired of believing that things will get better. But what if the transformation has already begun? What if God is already working, even though you can't see it yet? What if the very fact that you're still here, still breathing, still hoping even a little bit, is proof that he hasn't given up on you? You're still here. After everything you've been through. After every reason to quit. After every moment you thought you couldn't take one more step. You're still here. And that's not by accident. That's not just your strength. That's God's hand holding you up when you couldn't hold yourself up anymore. He's been carrying you all along. Through the nights you thought would never end. Through the pain you thought would kill you. Through the losses that should have destroyed you. He's been there, even when you couldn't feel him. Even when you wondered if he'd forgotten about you. Even when it seemed like he wasn't listening to your prayers. He was there. He is there. He will always be there. And he's about to show you just how faithful he's been, even in this season of tiredness. If this message is touching something in your heart, if you feel like these words were meant for you today, I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video. Not for me, but so that more people who are tired, who are weary, who are barely holding on, can find these words too. Because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear that their tiredness has a purpose, that God hasn't forgotten them, that transformation is coming. Help us reach them. Now, let me tell you something that might surprise you. The tiredness you're feeling? It's actually been working for you, not against you. Every time you felt too weak to go on but went on anyway, you were building spiritual muscle you didn't know you had. Every time you felt like giving up but chose to trust God one more day, you were deepening your faith in ways that only happen in the fire. Every time you felt exhausted but still showed up, still tried, still believed, you were becoming someone stronger, wiser, more beautiful than you were before. This season hasn't been destroying you. It's been refining you. Like gold in the fire. Like a diamond under pressure. Like a seed breaking open in the dark soil. It doesn't feel like growth when you're in the middle of it. It feels like dying. But God sees what you're becoming, and He knows it's worth every tear, every struggle, every exhausting moment. You're not the same person you were when this trial began. You might feel weaker, but you're actually stronger. You might feel more broken, but you're actually more whole. Because sometimes God has to break us open before He can heal what's been hidden inside for too long. Sometimes He has to strip away everything we're relying on so we learn to rely on Him alone. Sometimes He has to let us get tired of our own way so we'll finally surrender to His way. And His way is always better. Always. Even when we can't see it. Even when it doesn't make sense. Even when it hurts. His way leads to life, to peace, to joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. Our way leads to exhaustion, to disappointment, to that deep soul tiredness that no amount of sleep can fix. You've been going your own way for long enough. You've been trying to figure it all out, control it all, fix it all, and where has it gotten you? Here. Tired. Worn out. At the end of yourself. And that's exactly where God wants you, because that's where transformation begins. Think about caterpillars. They spend their whole lives crawling, eating, moving from leaf to leaf. That's all they know. That's their whole world. Then one day, something in them knows it's time. Time to stop. Time to rest. Time to surrender to a process they don't understand. So they build a cocoon, and inside that cocoon, everything they were breaks down. If you could see inside, you wouldn't see a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. You'd see nothing recognizable. Just liquid. Just chaos. Just what looks like complete destruction. But it's not destruction. It's transformation. And when the time is right, when the process is complete, something emerges that's nothing like what went in. Something that doesn't crawl anymore. Something that flies. Something beautiful and free and completely transformed. That's you right now. You're in the cocoon. Everything feels like it's falling apart. Everything feels dark and confusing and exhausting. You can't see what God is doing. You can't understand why it has to be this way. You just know you're tired of it. But God is transforming you. Every day you're in this hard season, He's working. He's breaking down old patterns that weren't serving you. He's dissolving old mindsets that were limiting you. He's removing old dependencies that were keeping you bound. He's reshaping your character, your faith, your very soul into something stronger, more beautiful, more like the person He created you to be. And when He's finished, when you emerge from this cocoon season, you won't be the same. You won't crawl through life anymore. You'll soar. You won't be bound by the same old limitations. You'll be free. You won't be tired in the same way, because you'll have learned to let God carry what you were never meant to carry alone. But you have to trust the process. You have to believe that God knows what He's doing, even in the darkness of the cocoon. You have to have faith that this tiredness, this breaking down, this uncomfortable transformation, is all leading somewhere good. Somewhere better than you can imagine. I know it's hard. I know you want to see results now. I know you want the tiredness to end today. But some transformations can't be rushed. Some blessings can only come after a season of breaking. Some freedoms can only be found after you've been completely emptied of yourself and filled with God instead. So be patient with the process. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with God's timing. He's not late. He's not forgotten. He's right on schedule, working all things together for your good, even when you can't see how anything good could come from this exhaustion. Your tiredness has an expiration date. This season will end. The weight will lift. The burden will be gone. The transformation will be complete. And when you look back from that place of freedom, from that place of strength, from that place of peace, you'll understand why it all had to happen exactly the way it did. You'll see how God used every tear to water seeds of blessing that are blooming now. You'll see how He used every dark night to teach you to trust Him when you can't see the path. You'll see how He used every moment of exhaustion to show you that His strength really is made perfect in your weakness. And you'll be grateful, not for the pain itself, but for what God did through the pain. Not for the tiredness, but for the transformation that came because of it. Not for the valley, but for how it taught you to appreciate the mountaintop. That day is coming. Hold on. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Keep reaching for Him even when you're too tired to reach far. Because God is about to transform what tires you today into the testimony that inspires others tomorrow. He's about to turn your exhaustion into your greatest strength. He's about to use the very thing that's breaking you to break you through into everything He's prepared for you. This is only the beginning of what God wants to show you about His power to transform. There's so much more He wants you to understand about why you had to get this tired, about what He's been protecting you from, about what He's been preparing you for. Let's continue this journey together in the next part, where we'll discover the hidden blessings in your exhaustion and why God sometimes has to tire us out before He can lift us up. There's a reason you had to reach this point of exhaustion. A reason that goes deeper than you might think. And I need you to hear this, really hear it, because understanding why can help you endure until the transformation comes. God could have stopped this tiredness before it started. He could have made your path easier. He could have removed every obstacle, every disappointment, every person who hurt you. He has that power. So why didn't He? Why did He allow you to get this worn down, this weary, this exhausted? Because there were things in your life that would never let go of you until you got tired enough to let go of them. There were dependencies you had that would never break until you got too weak to hold on to them anymore. There were false securities you were clinging to that God needed to pry from your hands, and the only way to do that was to let you get tired enough that your grip finally loosened. You were holding on to control. You thought if you just worked hard enough, planned well enough, tried hard enough, you could make everything turn out the way you wanted. You were tired, yes, but you kept pushing because you believed it was all up to you. God had to let you get so exhausted that you finally realized you were never meant to control everything in the first place. You were holding on to people who weren't meant to stay. People who were draining you, using you, taking from you without giving back. You knew deep down they weren't good for you, but you held on anyway because you were afraid of being alone, afraid of losing them, afraid of what life would look like without them. God had to let you get so tired of the drama, the disappointment, the one-sided relationships, that you finally found the strength to walk away. You were holding on to pride. You wanted to prove you could handle everything on your own. You wanted people to see you as strong, capable, unshakable. So you hid your struggles. You pretended you were fine. You refused to ask for help. God had to let you get so exhausted that your pride finally crumbled and you admitted you needed Him, needed others, needed grace. You were holding on to old versions of yourself that God was trying to kill off. Old patterns of thinking that kept you stuck. Old ways of coping that weren't healthy. Old dreams that weren't His dreams for you. And you wouldn't let them die. You kept trying to revive them, to make them work, to force them into your life. God had to let you get tired enough that you finally stopped fighting Him and surrendered to the new thing He was trying to birth in you. See, God wasn't punishing you with this tiredness. He was freeing you. He was loving you enough to let you get uncomfortable, to let you struggle, to let you reach the end of yourself, because that's the only way you'd ever truly find Him. That's the only way you'd ever discover the abundant life He promised you. Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." But notice what has to happen first. You have to be weary. You have to be burdened. You have to come to Him. If you never got tired, you'd never come. You just keep going your own way, doing your own thing, missing out on the rest, the peace, the joy that can only be found in Him. Your exhaustion is an invitation. God is calling you closer. He's saying, stop running on your own strength. Stop trying to figure it all out. Stop carrying what I never asked you to carry. Come to me. Let me give you rest. Let me carry what's too heavy for you. Let me transform what's wearing you out. But there's something else you need to understand. God didn't just let you get tired to teach you to depend on Him. He let you get tired to prepare you for what's coming next. Because the blessing He has waiting for you is too big for the old version of you to carry. The doors He's about to open require a different level of character, maturity, and faith than you had before. The purpose He's calling you to demands someone who knows how to rely on Him completely, not on their own strength. Think about it. If God had given you everything you wanted when you wanted it, back when you thought you had it all figured out, would you have been ready? Would you have handled it well? Or would you have taken credit for it, gotten prideful, messed it up, or missed the point entirely? God knows you better than you know yourself. He knows what you can handle and when you can handle it. He knows that some blessings would actually harm you if they came before you were ready. So He allows seasons of tiredness, seasons of waiting, seasons of breaking, not to hurt you but to prepare you for the weight of the glory that's coming. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before God used him to deliver Israel. 40 years of watching sheep, far from the palace where he grew up, far from the influence and importance he once had. 40 years that probably felt like a waste. 40 years that probably tired him out, made him wonder if God had forgotten him, made him question if he'd ever do anything significant again. But those 40 years weren't wasted. They were necessary. The Moses who fled Egypt in fear and pride wasn't ready to lead millions of people to freedom. He had to be broken, humbled, tired of his own way, before God could use him for something greater than he ever imagined. And when God finally called him, when he appeared in that burning bush and said, "I'm sending you to Pharaoh," Moses didn't respond with pride or confidence. He responded with humility. "Who am I that I should go? I can't do this." That's exactly who God needed. Someone who knew he couldn't do it on his own, someone who would depend completely on God's strength, someone who had been tired enough of himself to make room for God. That's what this season of exhaustion is doing in you. It's making room. Room for God to work in ways He couldn't when you were full of yourself, full of your own plans, full of your own strength. It's emptying you out so He can fill you up with something better, something that will actually satisfy, something that will give you the energy and purpose you've been desperately searching for. And here's what's beautiful about God's timing. When He finally does transform your tiredness, when He finally does lift the weight, when He finally does bring the breakthrough you've been praying for, you won't take it for granted. You'll appreciate it in a way you never could have if it came easily. You'll protect it, nurture it, steward it well, because you remember the cost, you remember the weight, you remember how exhausting life was without it. The people who receive blessings without struggle often lose them just as quickly. They don't value them because they didn't fight for them. They don't maintain them because they don't know what it's like to live without them. But you're different. You're going through the fire right now. You're being refined. And when God brings you through to the other side, you're going to hold onto His blessings with both hands. You're going to treasure what He gives you. You're going to use it for His glory because you'll know without a doubt that it came from Him, not from your own effort. Your tiredness is also protecting you. I know that sounds strange, but it's true. There are doors God has closed in your life that you kept trying to force open. Jobs you didn't get. Relationships that ended. Opportunities that fell through. And you were exhausted from fighting for them, from trying to make them work, from wondering why God wouldn't give you what you wanted. But what if those closed doors were God's protection? What if that job would have destroyed your peace? What if that relationship would have broken your heart even worse down the road? What if that opportunity would have led you away from your purpose instead of toward it? Sometimes God lets us get tired of knocking on the wrong doors so we'll finally notice the right door He's been holding open for us all along. Sometimes He lets us get exhausted chasing the wrong things so we'll finally stop and ask Him what we should actually be pursuing. Sometimes He lets us wear ourselves out going the wrong direction so we'll finally surrender and let Him lead us where we're supposed to go. And here's something that might change everything for you. What if the thing that's making you tired isn't actually your enemy? What if it's the tool God is using to build something in you that couldn't be built any other way? Patience can only be built through waiting. Trust can only be built through uncertainty. Faith can only be built when you can't see the way forward. Compassion can only be built through suffering. Humility can only be built through struggle. And endurance, real endurance that doesn't give up when things get hard, can only be built through exhaustion that forces you to find a strength beyond your own. You're not just surviving this season. You're being trained in it. God is developing qualities in you that you're going to need for the next chapter of your life. Qualities that will serve you, bless others, and bring glory to Him. Qualities that could never be taught in a classroom or gained through easy living. Qualities that only come from walking through the fire and coming out refined. If these words are bringing light into your darkness, if you're beginning to see purpose in your pain, I want to ask you to help us spread this message. Subscribe to this channel and hit that like button. Not because we need numbers, but because somewhere tonight, someone is about to give up. Someone is too tired to keep going. And maybe, just maybe, this video will find them at exactly the right moment and give them the hope they need to hold on one more day. Be part of that miracle. Now I want to tell you something that's going to challenge you, but you need to hear it. God is more interested in your character than your comfort. He's more interested in your faith than your feelings. He's more interested in who you're becoming than whether you're happy right now. That's hard to accept in a world that tells us we deserve to be comfortable, that we should always feel good, that if something is difficult it must not be God's will. But that's not what the Bible teaches. That's not what Jesus modeled. He told His followers, "In this world you will have trouble. But take heart. I have overcome the world." Trouble is promised. Tiredness is part of the journey. Exhaustion comes with the territory of living in a broken world. But so does transformation. So does victory. So does the peace that passes understanding, the joy that doesn't depend on circumstances, the strength that's made perfect in weakness. You're tired because you're in a battle. And battles are exhausting. But you're not fighting alone. God is fighting for you. He's fighting battles you can't even see. He's blocking attacks you don't even know are coming. He's making ways when there seems to be no way. He's working behind the scenes while you're struggling on the front lines. And He's about to turn the tide. He's about to shift things in your favor. He's about to reveal what He's been doing all along while you felt like nothing was happening. He's about to prove that your tiredness wasn't in vain, that your faithfulness hasn't gone unnoticed, that your perseverance is about to pay off in ways you can't yet imagine. But until that moment comes, until you see the full transformation, you have to keep trusting. Keep believing. Keep holding on to hope even when hope feels foolish. Keep talking to God even when it feels like He's not listening. Keep putting one foot in front of the other even when you're too tired to walk. Because every step you take in faith, even exhausted faith, is bringing you closer to breakthrough. Every prayer you whisper, even when your words feel weak, is reaching the throne of heaven. Every tear you cry in surrender is being collected by a God who sees, who cares, who is moved by your pain. He hasn't abandoned you in this tiredness. He's right there in the middle of it with you, holding you up when you can't stand, carrying you when you can't walk, breathing strength into you when you have none left of your own. And soon, very soon, you're going to see why it all had to happen this way. You're going to understand the purpose in the pain, the blessing in the breaking, the transformation in the tiredness. You're going to look back and see God's fingerprints all over this season, and you're going to thank Him for not answering your prayers the way you wanted, for not rescuing you the moment you asked, for loving you enough to let you get tired so you could finally find true rest in Him. There's one more thing you need to hear, one final truth that will carry you through until the transformation is complete. Let's finish this message together. And let me show you the promise that God has waiting for you on the other side of your exhaustion. I want you to hear this with your whole heart, because this is the promise God is making to you right now, in this moment, as you sit there tired and worn down and wondering if things will ever change. They will change. Not might. Not maybe. Will. God will transform what tires you today. Not because you've earned it. Not because you've been perfect. Not because you've figured it all out or done everything right. But because that's who God is. He's a transformer. He's a redeemer. He's a God who specializes in taking broken things and making them beautiful, taking weak things and making them strong, taking tired people and giving them wings to soar. Isaiah said it like this: "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Did you catch that? Those who hope in the Lord. Not those who have it all together. Not those who never get tired. But those who hope. Those who keep believing even when they're exhausted. Those who keep trusting even when they can't see the way forward. That's you. You're still here. You're still hoping, even if it's just a tiny flicker of hope barely staying lit in the storm. You're still trusting, even if your trust is shaky and full of questions. You're still believing, even if your belief is mixed with doubt and fear. And that's enough. That small seed of hope is enough for God to work with. He can take that little bit of faith and grow it into something that will carry you through anything. Because here's what God is about to do. He's about to renew your strength. Not give you a little boost. Not help you push through a little longer on your own power. Renew. Make new. Transform completely. Give you a strength that doesn't come from you, a strength that doesn't run out, a strength that gets stronger the more you use it because it flows from an endless source. You're going to soar. You, who can barely walk right now. You, who feel like crawling is the best you can manage. You're going to soar like an eagle. High above the storms that used to ground you. High above the problems that used to overwhelm you. High above the tiredness that used to define you. And you're going to run without growing weary. You're going to walk without fainting. Not because you became superhuman, but because you finally learned to tap into supernatural strength. Not because your circumstances changed, but because you changed. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger through learning to lean on God. But let me be honest with you about something. This transformation doesn't always happen overnight. Sometimes God works instantly. Sometimes He performs miracles in a moment. But sometimes, oftentimes, transformation is a process. It's gradual. It's day by day, step by step, moment by moment of choosing to trust Him even when you're still tired. And that's okay. Actually, it's better than okay. Because quick fixes don't last. Instant transformations don't build the kind of deep, unshakable faith that you need for the long haul. It's the daily choice to hope when hope is hard, to trust when trust is terrifying, to believe when belief feels foolish, that builds character that can't be broken, faith that can't be shaken, strength that can't be stolen. So don't despise the process. Don't hate the waiting. Don't resent the fact that you're still tired even though you've been praying for relief. Every day you choose faith over fear, hope over despair, trust over control, you're one step closer to the full transformation. Every morning you get up even though you're exhausted, every night you thank God even though you're hurting, every moment you surrender instead of struggle, you're being changed from the inside out. And one day, maybe soon, maybe down the road, you're going to wake up and realize something has shifted. The weight isn't as heavy anymore. The burden isn't as crushing. The tiredness isn't as consuming. And you won't even be able to pinpoint exactly when it happened because it was so gradual, so gentle, so natural that you didn't notice the transformation until it was already done. That's how God works sometimes. Quietly, gently, faithfully. While you're just trying to survive, He's transforming you. While you're just trying to make it through another day, He's preparing you for better days ahead. While you're just trying to hold on, He's getting ready to elevate you to a level you never dreamed possible. But here's what I need you to understand. The transformation God is bringing isn't just about making your life easier or taking away your problems. It's about changing you so completely that the problems that used to destroy you can't even touch you anymore. It's about giving you a peace that exists even in chaos, a joy that survives even in pain, a hope that endures even in darkness. It's about making you into someone who doesn't need perfect circumstances to have a good life. Someone who doesn't need everything to go right to experience God's goodness. Someone who has learned the secret that Paul discovered when he said, "I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation." That's the transformation. Not just relief from tiredness, but becoming someone who can handle tiredness without breaking. Not just removal of burdens, but becoming someone strong enough to carry what God calls you to carry. Not just an easier life, but a better you living whatever life God gives you. And when you become that person, when you're fully transformed, you're going to look back at this exhausting season with gratitude. Not because you enjoyed the pain, but because you see what it produced in you. You see how it shaped you, strengthened you, prepared you for a purpose bigger than your comfort. You're going to meet people who are going through what you went through. People who are tired, worn out, ready to give up. And you're going to be able to look them in the eye and say, "I know. I've been there. I understand. And I'm here to tell you that God is going to transform this. He did it for me, and He'll do it for you too." Your pain is going to become your ministry. Your struggle is going to become your testimony. Your exhaustion is going to become your message of hope to others who are exhausted. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is meaningless. God is going to use every bit of what you're going through right now to help someone else get through later. That's the beauty of transformation. It's never just about you. It's always about what God wants to do through you once He's done working in you. He's transforming your tiredness into strength not just so you can have an easier life, but so you can help others carry their burdens. He's healing your pain not just so you feel better, but so you can comfort others with the comfort you've received. He's teaching you to trust Him in the darkness not just for your sake, but so you can be a light to others who are stumbling in their own dark valleys. If this message has given you hope, if you're beginning to believe again that God really is going to transform what tires you, I want to ask you one more time to subscribe and like this video. Because your simple click could be the reason someone else finds this message tomorrow. Your small action could be the lifeline someone needs to hold on for one more day. Be part of spreading hope to the tired, weary, exhausted people who desperately need to hear that transformation is coming. Now, let me leave you with this final thought. This final promise. This final truth that I want you to carry with you every single day until you see the full transformation God has planned for you. You are not forgotten. In your tiredness, in your weariness, in your exhaustion, you are not forgotten. God sees you. He knows exactly where you are, what you're carrying, how much you're struggling. And He's not disappointed in you. He's not angry that you're tired. He's not frustrated that you haven't figured it out yet. He's proud of you. Proud that you're still going. Proud that you haven't given up. Proud that you're still trying to trust Him even when trust is hard. Proud that you're still talking to Him even when you don't know what to say. Proud that you're still here, still breathing, still hoping, still believing that somehow, someway He's going to come through for you. And He is. He is going to come through. Maybe not on your timeline. Maybe not in the way you expected. But in His perfect timing, in His perfect way, He's going to transform what tires you today into the testimony that inspires others tomorrow. He's going to take your exhaustion and turn it into empowerment. He's going to take your weakness and reveal His strength through it. He's going to take your breaking point and make it your breakthrough point. He's going to take what the enemy meant to destroy you and use it to develop you into everything He created you to be. So hold on. Just a little longer. Just one more day. Just one more moment. Because your transformation is closer than you think. The dawn is coming after this long night. The breakthrough is forming beneath the surface of your struggle. The blessing is being prepared while you're being perfected. God hasn't brought you this far to leave you here. He hasn't carried you through everything you've survived just to drop you now. He hasn't protected you, provided for you, kept you through all of it just to abandon you in this moment of exhaustion. No. He's right there with you. His hand is on your back, holding you up. His voice is whispering encouragement even when you can't hear it clearly. His love is surrounding you even when you can't feel it strongly. His plan is unfolding even when you can't see it clearly. And very soon, the tiredness that defines today is going to be replaced by the testimony that defines tomorrow. The exhaustion you feel now is going to be transformed into the energy you need for what's next. The weakness you experience today is going to become the platform for God's strength to be displayed in powerful ways. Because God keeps His promises. Always. Every single one. And He promised that those who hope in Him will renew their strength. He promised that His grace is sufficient for you. He promised that He works all things together for the good of those who love Him. He promised that He'll never leave you or forsake you. He promised that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Your morning is coming. Your joy is coming. Your strength is coming. Your transformation is coming. And when it comes, when you finally see what God was doing all along, when you finally understand why you had to walk through this valley to reach that mountaintop, you're going to fall to your knees in worship and gratitude because you'll see that every exhausting step was worth it. Every tear mattered. Every prayer was heard. Every struggle was shaping you. Every moment of tiredness was actually a moment of transformation happening beneath the surface, invisible to your eyes but very visible to God's. So tonight, when you lay your tired head on your pillow, whisper this prayer with me. God, I'm tired. You know I'm tired. I don't have the strength to keep going on my own. But I'm choosing to hope in you. I'm choosing to believe that you're transforming what exhausts me. I'm choosing to trust that you have a purpose in this pain, a plan in this struggle, a blessing hidden in this burden. Renew my strength. Transform my weakness. Take what's wearing me out and use it to build me up into who you created me to be. I surrender my tiredness to you. I release my need to control everything. I trust you with my transformation. Amen. That's your prayer. That's your surrender. That's your pathway to transformation. And God hears it. He receives it. He honors it. And He's already beginning to answer it in ways you can't yet see but will soon experience. God is going to transform what tires you today. That's not a maybe. That's not a hope. That's a promise from a God who cannot lie, who keeps every word He speaks, who loves you more than you can comprehend. So rest in that promise tonight. Trust in that truth tomorrow. Walk in that faith every day until you see it with your own eyes, feel it in your own spirit, experience it in your own life. Your transformation is coming. And it's going to be more beautiful, more powerful, more complete than you ever imagined. Because when God transforms something, He doesn't just fix it. He makes it better than it was before it broke. Hold on. Keep hoping. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Your tiredness has an expiration date. Your transformation has already begun. And God is going to finish what He started in you. This I know for certain. This I believe with all my heart. This I declare over your life right now. God will transform what tires you today. He will. He is. And very soon, you'll have your own testimony of how He did exactly that. Until then, rest in His promise. Trust in His process. Hope in His faithfulness. You're going to make it through this. And you're going to be amazed at who you've become on the other side. God bless you. God keep you. God transform you. And may you know, deep in your exhausted soul, that you are loved, you are seen, you are not forgotten, and your transformation is already underway. Amen.